joined by Dr. Peter Kwasniewski. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Excellent. Mr. Timothy Flanders.
Viva Cristo Rey.
Awesome. And we've got Mr. Kennedy Hall.
Hello there, sir.
And then Murray Rundus.
Great to be here.
So,
And what are we giving away? What's the big announcement?
I think that this is very exciting for folks. So we had a lot of debate here. And for many of you tonight, you're going to have an opportunity. If you sign up for Pelican Plus tonight on this live stream for our premium membership, what did we decide? I felt like we went back and forth. Annual.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do. Yeah. So we're going to do it. We're going to give you a gift certificate. You'll be entered into a drawing for a gift certificate. Anyone that signs up for Pelican Plus Premium tonight, you'll be entered in for the gift certificate for an annual subscription for yourself, or you could give it to someone else for Christmas.
And make sure you use the link underneath, because we'll know that you signed up from this stream during the stream, and those links are clearly shown there for you.
So if you want to take a look tonight and see more of what's going on, you can go straight to the app at app.pelicanplus.com. And if you're looking to sign up, you can go to pelicanplus.com, and we'll be talking about our basic subscriptions, our premium subscriptions, and then our Founders Club. So it's been almost 60 days. Does anybody want to give me their reaction to the first 60 days of Pelican Plus?
I am so excited to be a part of this project. This is fantastic. I mean, this is the whole world of the Antichrist technocracy is a massive beast that everybody wants to attack and fight. Everybody wants to, like you were saying, everybody wants to deal with this situation. But this is maybe the first time there's been a digital institution that has the power, the weapons, digitally speaking, to really combat the algorithm beast. And that's so exciting to me.
I also think that, not that we would ever promote drinking in excess, but we should have a drinking game every time Tim says Antichrist technocracy. Because he said it about 40 times today.
But why is that the correct term?
It is the correct term because we were talking about this earlier. Technology is a part of our lives. You said this on podcast your own Matt Fradd recently, or even Plato was lamenting writing as a technology because that had certain downfalls. There's always a give and take. We have the digital stuff and it's not going anywhere. As Catholic parents especially, and as young people without children, but one day soon, hopefully, Mr. Rundus here, even just being a regular citizen of the world as a Catholic thinking, how do I protect myself from what's dangerous with technology? We're constantly in a position of playing defense, right? Spelled with a C. And so we're like, oh, I can't have this. I don't want to have that. I have to stop myself from seeing that. Of course, we agree. You know, if the bad guys are around you, you put up a gate. Okay, fine. You've put up the gate, but then what do you do inside the gate? This platform is not part of YouTube. It's not part of X or Facebook, whatever. So you're never going to see anything scandalous at all. But then we have to go a step further from just resisting it and actually create something where we can not just be safe, we can also thrive. And that's what we're doing.
Exactly.
And that takes a little bit of adjustment, I think, for trads. I've noticed this because I'll give an example. I remember when the Immaculata was being built in St. Mary's, and after it was finished, everyone in St. Mary's, which is a big society community there in Kansas, all the young guys were used to standing in the back because to give up there was barely any seats in the auditorium where mass was being held for the families and for the children and for the women. So the young guys would stand in the back. Well, when the big church is built, you have thousands of seats. Finally, the guys had to get used to sitting down. So guys would sit in the back of the church and they'd say, "Now it's time to sit down." I think there's a similarity in the fact that traditionalists can get used to being as this group, we've been persecuted in a real sense. We've been used to having to say mass in hotel chapels and to just being guys talking in webcams. But now we have a real situation here, and we have a real organization that can fight the technocracy in a real way. There's a real organization where people can come together and really build something special, and that's thanks to our founding members and these people who want to be involved in something that's really changing the game forever. We're actually building a digital institution that's going to shake things up in a real way. So it's amazing to be a part of it.
Yes, and anybody who's ever read anything that I've written knows that I take aesthetics very seriously. It's important for us to make beautiful content, not just true. That is the most important thing. It has to be true and orthodox and Catholic, but it should be wholesome and good and beautiful. It should be splendid. It should reflect well on what we're striving for as Catholics. We're striving for not just for sanctity, but I would say we're striving for charity, for courtesy, for winsomeness. We want to tell the story of our Lord, the story of the faith, of the saints, of the liturgy in a way that is appealing and moving. And so I think when you look at the Pelican Plus platform, one of the most common remarks that people make is, "Wow, this is gorgeous,
Beautiful."
Yeah.
It's laid out well. It's tasteful. It's it's easy to use, and the production values are very high. When we commission a documentary or when we have the stories of the saints being read, these are top quality products, and that is something in a way, Murray. I was reminded by your comments that Catholics, we'll say traditional Catholics, but I think Catholics in general have often settled for second best.
Yeah.
We've kind of let the secular world beat us, at making the nice movies, putting out the slick products. No, we can't do that. We need to compete, not for competition's sake, but for the sake of the faith and for our own benefit.
Absolutely.
And this is the thing that made me think of Baroque civilization when we first talked about the digital art and how Dan was working with our graphic designer, Marcus Barron, and he was developing something that was not, it wasn't just taking a beautiful painting that exists as a painting in real life and then just copy and pasting that into digital.
Yeah.
It was creating an aesthetic that actually functioned on the digital space, but in a different way. And that is such a difficult thing to do. It's all credit to Marcus for creating this, but it's really, Baroque civilization was created when there was all these new technologies, which were very threatening to the faith, because they were able to paint realistic looking pictures, and they were creating pornography out of this stuff in the 1500s. And many churchmen were like, "Let's burn it all. This is terrible." But then the Council of Trent said, "No, we're going to harness this new technology, and we're going to be very militant about our principles. But if we're militant about the principles, we can create something beautiful." And even secular art historians all say, "Oh, the beautiful art's coming out of the Catholics." Because after this, the Catholics and the Protestants fight each other in terms of the best music, the best architecture and stuff. And they're all like, "Oh, the Catholics beat them every time in art, architecture, music, and everything." But in this period we're in now, the Catholics have been on defense, because after we lost the Legion of Decency in the mid 20th century, we've been kind of like letting all the beauty get created by these godless communists.
And what are we fighting, Tim?
The Antichrist. Viva Cristo Rey.
No, but you're right. So think about the printing press. We were just talking about Edmund Campion before we came on, and this is 1600s. So it was at the point now where you could find printers and things like that. So one of his apostolic works when he was in the UK for that year or so that he was back there before he was mercilessly martyred, was getting a book printed. And it made me think, I have this book on my shelf. I have two books from the late 1800s. I have, one's about Mary and one's basically kind of like a catechism. And they're both from New York. And one's from 1875 and one is from 1886 or something. And they're the most beautiful books I've ever seen in my life. I have to be very careful because the pages, like, they're old and they have the tissue paper over the colored images and things. But even the outside of the book is a piece of art. It's three-dimensional, it has texture, it has like almost sculpting to it or something. And then even the way things are printed on the inside, you can tell that the actual letters and the fonts were meant to be artistically beautiful. But that was a technology that when it came out, the church was rightfully worried about. Because one of the first things you do is you get heretical Bibles printed, or you get treaties against the faith printed, and so on and so forth. This whole tech boom that we've been living through in such a short period of time, 30 years roughly of the digital tech boom, this has been something that has came after us like a whirlwind. And it's hard to find any organization of Catholic thinkers or prelates, whatever, the Vatican finally updated their website like last year, and before that it looked like something from like XPage or GeoSites or something from the 90s. And we're behind. So this is one of I think the first place where we've seen this sort of innovation, using the technology properly and making it beautiful, which is always the hallmark of Catholic innovation.
Amen. And I think one of the things that we're doing that's very unique is we've held to some pretty big principles. Number one, there will never even be ads on the platform. And the reason is to keep things beautiful, we also need to protect the eyes against that slight glance, the next video coming up, the challenges that are there. So one of the things that we've decided to do in this platform is to make sure that it's going to be beautiful. It's never going to have ads. It's not going to have the AI voices.
Never.
You know, I know that's been a big conversation today. Does anybody want to add into that?
Yes, well, you know, we have one of the most popular aspects of Pelican Plus is the prayer app, sort of the prayer app within the Pelican Plus environment. And what we did, all of the collaborators, all of the contributors, we all agreed among ourselves that we were going to read all of our favorite prayers. And we read dozens and dozens and dozens of prayers, from litanies to parts of the liturgy to novena prayers to angels and saints. I mean, many devotions to Our Lady, the Angelus. I chanted some of the things in Latin, the Angelus, the Rosary and Mysteries. And what this gives is a very personal and very human touch to all of these prayers. You can hear real people speaking from their heart, from their soul, not a soulless machine. And that I think people can tell immediately the difference. But I would also add, I'm not saying that that every celebrity is a bad person and they should never record things, but it also seems odd to me to pick sort of famous people and have them read, almost like dramatically read. It's better to have prayers being read by people who actually love those prayers and have prayed them for years and years in many cases. And the very people who are running the whole platform, they're the ones who are bringing these things to you.
Yeah, the way I've seen it is that I really think what we're doing is ensouling technology in a way. Because you see, we have all this, you have the matter of the technology everywhere, but you don't have the form oftentimes, in the sense that you have, everywhere you go, there's a detachment, almost one step removed from what you're actually reading. You can read an article, now it's written by AI slop. You even have this term trad slop that's everywhere. You get articles that it's so, everything is built on a cliche, it's built on what somebody else has already done before. You have no idea who's writing behind it. It's a faceless entity, a media conglomerate behind it. It can be a nightmare. All of our articles on Pelican Brief are read by the author. It's read by the person that's written his soul into the technology, and now you can receive it. You can receive the truth in a real way, and you speak the same thing with the prayers there, and it's really encapsulating everything we're about, which is breathing life into a technology that has been occupied, possessed by Satan, as you've said, Tim, but now we're taking it back. We're taking it back for Christ the King.
I loved how you put that, because in Christendom, we would have this, you'd have your family, mom and dad, kids, and then you'd have the cultural momentum of the community. You walk out your door and they're processing down the street, and you're just, oh, this is just what we do, right? But now we're totally isolated nuclear families, which already is a corruption because you don't have grandma and grandpa with you either. So you're this isolated family, and then you're trying to go over this isolated community. But what's so interesting is that the technology allows us to connect with people across the world, which is already manifesting a sacramental reality that was already existed for centuries, obviously, but we never really experienced the community until now. It's kind of like going around the isolation into this connection. And it's also oral too, which is pre-modern, pre-Trent, which is interesting when you hear those voices. So that's a beautiful way to say it. I never thought about that.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why we also want to offer more and more audiobooks for people, and not just audiobooks, but also the articles read aloud and the documentaries and the stories like Martyrs and Miracle Men. All of these ways in which people, let's face it, a lot of modern people they have to spend a lot of time driving to and from work, perhaps, or they have a long drive to their Sunday Latin Mass, maybe an hour. I know so many people who drive an hour or more to get to a Latin Mass. It's wonderful to have things that they can listen to. or the mother who's doing the chores around the house or doing the dishes, can put something on. I think it's really wonderful. I'm very much in favor of that kind of use of technology because, as you say, it's actually bringing people back to reading in a different mode. Maybe they don't have the time to sit down with the book, but they can listen to somebody reading the book well.
Yes, and we've got some great things that have just been added to Pelican Plus now that we have the propers, the 1962, the pre-55 being read every single day. Travis is doing a wonderful job for us. We've got the Roman Martyrology that you can listen to every morning. You can pray the Office of Prime. You can pray the Office of Compline.
Gospels.
The Gospels are being
Full
read
Bible coming
on
piece
its way.
by piece.
Yes.
In the Douay-Rheims translation.
With a Canadian accent.
So, I mean, these are the things that really are going to set what we're doing very much apart. And I want to say this, for those of you that are listening that are part of our Founders Club, those that have come on board and alongside us with a lifetime subscription, you're the reason that we're able to do this. For everyone that is subscribed to Pelican Plus, it does take dollars and cents to do these things that we're doing. And because of your support of what we're doing here at Pelican, we can continue to go out and acquire great documentaries. We can do all kinds of things along the way. We can support a great group of traditional nuns that have put out beautiful chant music and bring that into our platform. And that's because of everybody supporting what is going on here at Pelican Plus. And it really has been amazing in the last 60 days. Many of us have commented that we're ahead of where we thought we'd be at this point.
Yes.
I mean, we're getting to the point now where the biggest problem we're having as a content ecosystem is we have too much,
Right.
which is a good problem to have.
Right.
So, big part of this, we're all here together, obviously, from different parts of North America for a meeting, but we've had to reorganize the website or the app to deal with the fact that we have that good problem of having too much, and there's more coming. But there's two things that you gentlemen were talking about that I wanted to make sure I mentioned because I like to hear myself talk. Number one, it's easy as traditionalists to lament what has been lost. We know what has been lost. It's not lost forever. The Latin Mass is still with us. The traditional faith is still with us, not just in potential, but it's actualized in many chapels and parishes around the world, many homes, and it will continue to grow, which is an incredible thing. But much has been lost. And not just in the church, but much has been lost in our societal ethics, the way we treat each other, right? The way we run our businesses and so forth. And often there's a temptation, which is something we will all have to wrestle with, is, well, that's all been lost, so let's try to recapture it and live like we live in a former time. And that's really hard to do because society is just not set up like that anymore. And for whatever reason, through providence, God has ordained it that we should be here now. And that's just what's happening. And we can't fight it in the sense of we can't make it different because it's the historical moment that we happen to find ourselves in. So in order for us to reclaim what has been lost, like all Catholics who have dealt with various types of persecutions, and we do live in a time of a very real persecution. It's a white martyrdom. We're not being slaughtered because the devil knows if he did that, everyone would convert again. But we're dealing with a different type of martyrdom, a different type of persecution. We're having to deal with working with companies with silly HR departments and all these things which grind us down slowly. It's like C.S. Lewis in the Screwtape Letters when he cautions the one devil from tempting his patient to murder. He says, don't do that, because murderers often have repentance. Instead, tempt him to play cards, meaning gamble, so that he slowly over 40 years finds himself irretrievably in a pit of despair and so forth, and it's a more sure way to get the man's soul. That's the kind of thing we're dealing with now. And one of the millstone grinding us down, it is the technology, which can be used for so much good, but it's often not. So what we're trying to do is say, all right, what's been lost has been lost. It can be reclaimed, but we have to use the tools that we have now. And these are the tools that we have now. And this platform makes that all possible. And another thing that I wanted to say before I stop here is, one of the things that I, as an audiobook narrator, for example, I miss the days of old school radio. I wish they were still around. It's sad to me that I can't just throw on the AM thing in the car when I'm driving or whatever and listen to the guy with common sense talk about something. I really liked that, but it's basically gone. And why do we like that so much? Because Christ tells us that the faith comes through hearing. And that is something that I always think about when I'm narrating audiobooks, when I'm recording stuff for the app and all the voiceover work that I do. Is I think to myself, Christ did tell us that the faith comes through hearing. He did not say that the faith comes through only hearing someone's voice in person. Obviously, I don't know if we should read too much into it, but the point is that we are hearing. We're hearing the Gospels. We're hearing the prayers. We're hearing the books. Most people, 50% of people that listen to podcasts often only listen to the audio, even if it's video. And that is something where I'm very excited where we can use that technology to fulfill one of Christ's commands, which is to spread the faith through hearing.
Absolutely. And I think the reason we're doing this event tonight is to share that with more people so that they know that it's available. If you haven't taken a look at Pelican Plus, now's the time to take a look. You can get on board. We have 2 subscription models. We've got the basic that you can come on board, and that would give everybody access to everything that you're doing in writing and all of the video podcasts that are out there, which is great. Instead of having to pay different subscription rates to each and every person, they can pay one. So $7.99 a month, or save 2 months by doing the annual. And then even more, we can go further. We can get all those audiobooks, all the gospel narrations, all the things that we've been talking about tonight in our premium edition for $15.99 a month.
The prayers.
The prayers as well. And the reason we've said it that is we want this to be achievable for the average family. Here's a tool that you can have at your disposal. Yes, we're using technology, but it's available for you. So if you haven't done so, go check out pelicanplus.com. You might even want to take a look at the Founders Club, because that's how we're pushing this forward with your help. We're doing something that
And what do they get for the Founders Club, Dan?
And if they get the Founders Club, they get the lifetime membership. One of the great things is we actually have a Founders event happening. So there are more of us here than we could even fit around the table. We tried to squeeze more people in, but we couldn't get them in tonight. But tomorrow night, we're going to be having a Founders event here where folks are flying in to come and have dinner with us. For those that couldn't fly in, they're going to have another live stream where they're going to get to ask questions, individual, and really get to be in community with all of you guys, which is very powerful. So if you'd like to be part of what's going on, the Founders Club is amazing. And truly, it's helping us. It's supporting all of these gentlemen and many others that are putting out great content. One of the reasons we started Pelican Plus was to support the creators. Because if we want to have great content available to us, we've got to make sure that you can pay your bills.
Well, let's just break that down for a second, because there is a tendency sometimes, like, this is my little thesis here, guys, and it's probably wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway. So when you go to Europe, there's no question that everything Catholic is elevated and, quite frankly, more expensive. See, and I don't mean that as a pejorative, but those buildings, that architecture, those churches, right? The music, all of that required a lot of capital to make it happen, because we live in a world of limited resources, and the resources have to go towards the most important things if they are to be representative of what is most important. But there is something in North America. Maybe it's that we've always been fighting against the Protestant prosperity gospel thing or something, and we have this mentality that if I have to pay for something that's Catholic, that seems kind of like it's not supposed to be that way. But that isn't actually how our ancestors thought. If there was something worthwhile that could help share the faith, it was an automatic thing. It was, well, why would I spend my money elsewhere? Right. Think about it that way, right? And I'm a little bit of a numbers guy, so with the Founders Club, remind me here, if we do it in sheer numbers, it's the fee for how many years worth of subscription? If you think
So
about
basically, it's 3 years of a family subscription. So for $15.99, you can join the Founders Club, and it gives you the lifetime subscription. And that's for everybody in the family, too. So you'll all have your own unique codes. You'll be able to retain where you were watching this video based on the profile. So it gives them 3 years.
And the Founders Club is like our Kickstarter.
It is.
And what's important about that, though, is that has made it so we don't have to give in to usurious principles to finance this business, which is important for us to follow the Catholic social principles when it comes to money.
Amen. We have to do that. And we've been able to do it. I'm really excited about what's been accomplished in 60 days because we have set those principles and we've held to them. And we will continue to do so. It's going to take your support, but we're going to keep going.
Yeah, I think one thing that stands out to me there is, in a way, I think everyone in the Western world, people who are using all of these different digital platforms, they have accepted the fact that they might have to pay for something for premium content for somebody because people, but even supporting creators, there's all these different kinds of premium models that all of us were involved in to different extents. I think that causes, in a way, division especially in the trad community, where you've got an isolated community here, an isolated community here, an isolated community there. When the special thing about Pelican is there really is a civilizational aspect to this, where you're bringing all of these different perspectives in, not just one echo chamber, not just one bubble. People are coming together and sharing ideas, coming on each other's shows. And if you are in the Pelican app, you see all of these different perspectives. It makes you a more well-rounded individual, and you're only paying one instead of all of these different. So it's really something unique in the fact it's bringing people together and allowing these different perspectives to really move the conversation forward and generate an actual movement in terms of where we are today.
Which is different than what does the algorithm beast give you? The algorithm beast says, oh, you clicked on A, so I'm going to give you something else that's just like A. Oh, you clicked on A again. Give you another thing that's just like A. So you just got this echo chamber in your mind because the algorithm beast just cares about your money.
And what is that called?
The Antichrist technocracy. Viva Cristo Rey!
No, but Murray, one of the things that strikes me of what you're saying, because we've been in these like little fiefdoms, you know, so-and-so has his Catholic YouTube channel or has his Substack or Patreon or whatever it is. What are you doing when you're in that atmosphere? You're fighting for a piece of the pie. You have bills to pay. You have lights to keep on. If you're following Catholic morality, you might have a lot of kids, right? There are costs involved. It's natural as a human being. I don't believe in evolution, but the evolutionists would say like survival mentality or whatever. I think it's just greed. I think it's just our lower nature. I think it's just our concupiscence. It's natural for us to be worried about somebody else succeeding because we're thinking there's only a limited amount of audience and they can only give $8 a month to a limited amount of people. And that's going to play with your psychology a little bit. And I do think you're right in the sense that it does create this kind of tension where it need not be. Whereas we have decided to avoid all that. We'd like to avoid the pitfalls of the Antichrist technocracy. We'd like to avoid the pitfalls of the fiefdoms. And we'd like to come together in a truly Catholic sense where, do we agree on everything? No. But we agree on the fundamentals of the faith. So when we have disputes, they're the way Catholics are supposed to dispute. Makes sense?
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. I was thinking in your description, I was thinking of medieval guilds.
Yes.
Because the guild, it's one of the most wonderful inventions of the Christian imagination. You know, Aristotle pointed out way back in the Nicomachean Ethics, he talks about how tradesmen of the same kind often quarrel with each other because they're competitors. But the medieval imagination said, why don't we bring all the sculptors together and work on a common project, and then make sure that everybody's taken care of, right?
Yes.
And so they said masses for their members, they took care of the sick and the ailing. I mean, it's this beautiful Catholic ecosystem that's the medieval economy, and I think it still works. I mean, there's a reason why the popes have kept pointing to this. Is like, you should think about this instead of just the sort of dog eat dog, world where everybody's fighting for that piece of the pie. So I think that's one of the things that I'm most grateful for and most excited about with Pelican Plus is just this collaborative nature of it. It's actually frankly not very satisfying to work in a silo. No. When you're just by yourself, you're kind of hunkered down. You feel like you're just fighting this battle all by yourself, and And it's, yeah, of course, it's encouraging when individuals come out there and they want to subscribe to your Substack or something like that. But isn't it better to support a community that is itself aimed at building up Catholic community wherever it exists, right? I think somebody has said this already, multiple people. Pelican Plus is a tool, but it's a powerful tool, right? And like any tool, if it's used well, it is going to build up virtues. It's going to build up communities, real, physical, concrete communities, right? We're not ultimately about people escaping the real world. We're about helping people to be holy and healthy and wholesome Catholics in the real world. And I think we're harnessing the technology to do that.
I want to belabor one point that I think is super important, which is what is something that's an obstacle to that. And this is something we've all harped on, and I think this is something everybody feels. It's the advertisements that are everywhere. And not only they're annoying, I mean, in the sense that, if I'm wanting to sit down and watch a 2-hour history video or something, it's annoying to have 30 unskippable 2-minute ads in the middle of it. But it's different in a sense, too, of what you were saying. It causes this competitive environment where people are having to use clickbait. Where is my ad revenue at? Is it going up or is it going down? Am I competing with this guy? How am I going to challenge this guy and what he's saying? That's this rage bait culture that we're in is caused by the advertisements. Right. What Pelican has really done is gotten rid of it and is actually saying the fundamental thing. Not only is it the faith at the root, it's charity.
Yes.
We're there's a love for each other involved that's going to lead us to better our own content, and even where we disagree, we sharpen each other's skills.
And I think that a lot of people are not yet aware. I mean, we're only 2 months old.
Right.
A lot of people are not aware of how radical an idea we have, and that we've actually executed it. It's not just pie in the sky, like we're dreaming of this. We actually built it. It's happening. It's working right now. But when I say it's radical, I mean, we all know, anybody who's been paying attention knows that social media is driven by dopamine hits. They know that it's because people, they hit the like button or the love button or whatever. There's just a whole sort of unhealthy cycle that it brings us into. And we have decided with Pelican there are no like buttons.
Right.
We are going to produce the best content we can to share it with the people who are subscribing to us. And it's all focused on it's focused on building people up and not actually promoting sort of odd mini vices in people, right? Which is what a lot of social media does. So it's great.
And I think these are great points, and it's so important for everyone that's watching to understand that is radical, as you stated. It is very different, and the reason that so many people have gotten kind of used to using this secular device or this technology, is they're like, well, somebody else is paying for it. It is a different business model. Mm-hmm. And really, we've made a decision to be a subscription-based business model. And that's why we're inviting you tonight. Sign up for a premium subscription. $15.99 a month gives you access to everything that is on the platform, all the documentaries, the audiobooks, the whole prayer app. You could have the daily propers as you drive into work every single day. You can have Dr. K's articles. You can have all the great work that Kennedy's doing, the Pelican Brief, Meaning of Catholic, and many more. There's a whole group of folks that are in the room over there. It's great. Yeah. And so all we need you to do is sign up for that subscription, get a basic or a premium subscription. But remember, if you get a premium subscription tonight, we're going to take everybody during this live stream and we're going to put them in a lottery. And one of you is going to get an annual gift card for either yourself or to give to somebody else. Give the gift of Pelican, which we'll be putting out as well.
And let's be fully transparent here about our business practices, because I want to compare it to what it's like when you deal with the
Antichrist.
I could just try to get us to drink at this point.
No, but
I'm slowing down.
Tim's in one of his 11 times per year fasting seasons. So he's a lightweight right now. But in all seriousness, when you are on YouTube, Substack has a different feel, but it's still part of the same Antichrist. I won't make you say it. When you're part of those things, yeah, there are ways to support the creators. But you know who gets all the money?
It's true.
Yeah.
it's the big tech, we all know what it is. Whereas with us, full disclosure, we do have a software cost, and we pay to use the software to an independent company, by the way, that has similar values.
That's right.
And then all of the money goes to the employees of the company. It's not going to, there's obviously going to be some indirect trickle down from servers and things. I mean, it's the internet. But no, it is not a, you click on the thing and the creator gets 30 and YouTube gets 70. It's nothing like that. There's no cut being taken from Patreon that goes to a platform that, they might let you be on there, but they might kick you off one day because they don't like what you think about climate change.
And they also let everybody else on there
And they
whose
let
values
everybody
we
else.
shouldn't be supporting.
Exactly. Like this is, if we can use a colloquial term, this is like the anti-grift, quite frankly. It's not about the money. It's about the mission that we have, which we're doing through this business.
Yes.
And there is no compromise on our morals.
Right. I would compare it to, a lot of Catholics are talking more and more these days about, say, the Catholic land movement and about shopping locally and trying to support Catholic businesses and Catholic families. We're just doing the digital equivalent of that, right? Where it's like, if you could shop, if you had two stores to shop from, and one was run by a good Catholic family and the other by secular people who have, let's say, an LGBT rainbow in their store, well, it's obvious which one you're going to shop from. But it's weird in the internet world, Catholics everywhere pour their money into godless corporations.
Absolutely.
Like YouTube. I mean, Substack has a lot of wonderful people, but it has a lot of wacky and weird things as well. And if you dig enough, I've been on Substack for 2.5 years and I'm moving away from it, but because of Pelican. But there's a lot of stuff there that makes you either scratch your head or avert your gaze. It's just and I just want to make this point. Substack as a corporation is taking a big slice of what all the content creators are doing there. So again, it's just if you can do something as Catholics for Catholics, and really build that up, that is the way that we should all be thinking.
Absolutely.
Especially in this time of history, we need to be very intentional.
And earlier today, we were actually playing a video, so I had to put it on YouTube, and y'all were making fun of me because I kept getting ad after ad. How come you haven't subscribed to YouTube? This is what's crazy is as Catholics, what we're doing is we're saying, oh no, the solution to the advertisements that are immoral or the challenging beliefs is I'll pay that corporation that supports things that we don't support so that they'll take that away. Yet when we roll out a subscription-based program like Pelican Plus, some people go, I can't believe you're charging for it. So it is kind of interesting.
I just want to emphasize that this is something that has the potential to benefit the entire Catholic Church that we can share with everybody. Like, this is not just like, hey, we're around this table, operators are standing by, come make us more money.
Right.
Like, this is the digital infrastructure.
You can do that if you want, but
the digital infrastructure that we've created has the potential to benefit all Catholics. So that more other Catholics, we've already brought in more Catholic content creators and more producers of good literature, like Martyrs and Miracle Men is just good Catholic literature. And we have
Charles Coulomb is on the platform now.
Yeah, we have big announcements coming.
We've got very big announcements coming.
Huge announcements coming, but this is just something that we want to share. That's the key. Like, we want to share.
We love what we're doing.
We don't want to just like, hey, we want to make a bunch of money. Like, we have to pay our bills, but we want to share this. We want to build something for the whole church, something that's really could benefit many, many different people for the whole church.
Amen.
Something that stands out is that I think many people, especially young guys today, are trying to figure out, what is a safe way that I can use the internet? And people understand that there is a value. This is the sort of the devil's bargain people have gotten into with YouTube. Well, there's all of this different content that's very helpful to my spiritual life, so I'm going to put myself in these different situations where I might be tempted to go off into these different areas. The thing that Pelican does is it integrates everything. It makes it so that not only do you have a place where it's a prayer app, you can read everything you want, you can read all the articles that you want to, you can listen to the Holy Scriptures, but you can also get the content you want. And so if you're really trying to cut down on your digital space, Pelican is the perfect app for that.
Yeah,
That's something I wish when I was converting to Catholicism. I remember noticing this is a satanic thing that is going on today with YouTube banning all of these different people, promoting all of this degeneracy. If you're wanting to cut down and minimalize what you're doing, this big digital minimalism movement, install the Pelican app and delete some of the other stuff because you can cut down on the muck. And you've got all these great creators that can really incentivize you to do that.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I think we've kept these folks for a while. What I'd like to do is let's run around the table before we wrap up. You know, it's still an opportunity for you guys to go out to pelicanplus.com, check out the subscriptions that are available. And, you know, we are asking, we've got about 135 slots remaining for our Founders Club memberships. We've talked a little bit about that. If you join tonight as a Founders Club member, you're also going to be invited to tomorrow night's fireside chat. It'll be the first ever that we've done. So that could be a great reason to take action tonight. But gentlemen, Tim, why don't we start with you? Give me your thoughts, final thoughts on Pelican Plus, why people should join the movement.
I'm just so excited for the audio books and audio prayers. I use the I mean, this is something that I do use it for myself. I do the Roman Martyrology, and I sometimes I don't have time to read it, so I gotta brush my teeth and listen to the Roman Martyrology. And there's nothing like starting your day with hearing about how Saint Lucian got whipped and scourged and then won the palm of victory. Now I can go on with my day.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, as I said earlier, you know, it's the cultivation of beauty is very important for me. I think it should be very important for all of us. It should be a high priority. I think the traditional movement, the traditional Catholic movement, is one that treasures culture, Catholic culture. It's such a treasure, and yet it's been denigrated and marginalized, and we have almost a kind of anti-culture that's grown up not just in the world but in the church too. I don't even need to belabor that point. I think we all understand what I'm referring to, and so I am thrilled and grateful and humbled to be part of a cultural renewal effort. That's really what I see. This is one tool among many. It takes a lot of different. It takes something like the Catholic land movement, but it also takes something like Pelican Plus, right? And so that's why I think now is the time to act. Well, really, it's late. It's late in the day, but better now than never, right? And that's why this is great.
Yeah, Murray.
Catholicism is the main character of history. That's what I always say. I mean that in that it is at the center of everything. It's at the center of every single major historical event, and even when you look at technological advancements, it relates back to the faith in some way. Mm-hmm. And so when you're dealing with this extreme technological development that we've seen today, moving into the digital age, the answer is not to be retreating and to say, well, we're going to give up. I'm going to hunker down. We're not going to develop it all. It's over, as people will say. Instead, I think the answer is we're going to win. Catholics are winners, and we're going to take over this culture by storm and actually make a difference. And I think Pelican Plus is a great step forward for that.
For me, just personally, being a society guy, it's crazy how far things have come as SPX, right? So a few years ago, Tim and I became friends, and he asked me to be on his podcast, which he just started like a week before. And I'm like, I'm an SSPX guy, right? He's like, it's fine. Well, it was fine for you. It wasn't fine for a lot of people. The reason I'm telling this story is because we've come so far in the last 5 years where traditional Catholics of all stripes have realized that the various infightings of the different fiefdoms, as I said earlier, are such a waste of time. And it's not only a waste of time in, debates. It's a waste of time in who we associate with, who we do business with, and so on and so forth. Everyone at this table is just a Catholic. And it's not our fault that things have happened in a certain way where we've been required to adopt various labels for the sake of conversation. Because at root, we're just Catholics. I long for a day when traditional Catholic isn't a term. I long for a day when someone says, "Where do you go to mass?" And I don't have to say the place with the Latin mass. It's cool to say that, but I just wish they all were, is my point, right? And so what I like about this is in what we can do as lay people, we can do business, we can do literature, we can do content creation, we can do all these things. We can just come together with like-minded individuals and create something that is lasting and continue that push towards a true unity of like-minded Catholics to ensure the preservation and the spread of the fundamentals of the Catholic faith.
Amen.
Amen. Well, I just want to tell all of you guys, this is a great honor for me to be able to sit at this table. Heroes. And I know for a lot of the folks that are watching, that's what they feel. One of the great things that we have is we have this opportunity now to come together. We've got a bunch of folks that are waiting for dinner, other folks that are going to enjoy that together. So we thank you all for taking your time, joining us here tonight live with the team, some of the team of Pelican Plus. If you've heard something tonight that makes sense to you, we encourage you to subscribe. Check out the basic subscription, the premium subscription. You know, maybe you've heard something, the family subscription, but maybe you've heard something that said, guys, what you all are doing right now is making sense to me. I want to be part of that movement. We have made a big decision, and it's a little bit unique too. This is not a nonprofit entity. This is a for-profit company. We've done it that way so that we're not reliant on just one big donor to come in and to fund everything. Truly, we are serving every single subscriber. You are the reason we're able to do what we're doing here at Pelican Plus. So I encourage you, if you are interested, get on that premium subscription. Tonight, there will be a lottery after this, and we'll give a call to that person and we'll give them that annual subscription. But if you think that this is something that really makes sense, check out that Founders Club. It's a way to partner with us in what's going on so that we can continue to give, 5-figure donations to traditional Catholic organizations. We can bring other nonprofits in. What a lot of people probably don't even know, many of the organizations that are benefiting are actually not benefiting just as employees. They're getting benefit as nonprofits. So we have 4 nonprofits that are receiving monthly benefits just because of what's going on here at Pelican. So there's a lot of exciting stuff. We joked a little bit earlier. There's some exciting news coming. Stay tuned in the next couple of weeks. It's going to blow things up.
8-9 days?
Yeah, a few. I
Yes.
don't know. Yeah, we're going to do that? Okay, we'll do that. 9 days.
And then one more time, Tim, what are we fighting?
The Antichrist technocracy.
There you go.
Viva Cristo Rey.
God bless you all.
See you.